One of the very major issues that has come up is, of course, the issue of the financing of terrorism. And in recent times, we know that the EFCC has been threatened with suspension from the Egmont Group, which would essentially preclude Nigeria from any possibility of sharing financial intelligence with some of the Western nations that have very good intel on the region. What are your thoughts about that in view of the larger fight against forces like Boko Haram and forces like the Islamic State of West Africa?
First of all, we must, as an organization, you must look at their aims and objectives, their leadership structure, their finances. Finance is very, very critical. How do they get this source of fund? It's very critical, and I think this is the area the government should interrogate or look at critically, especially in the issue of negotiations. Because without any facts or proof, all those negotiations cannot go without money exchanging hands. So you see a situation where money exchange hands and these people use it again to buy more arms. So we need to look at the efforts on part of government and see whether these people are genuine in their efforts in eradicating or releasing this, or they just want to use it as a bargain to getting money and buy more arms. I'm
just wondering then, you talked about how there was an influx of arms from Libya and all these other places. The question is, were you proactive? What could we have done that we did not do? We know that those arms would have flown downwards, would have come downwards towards sub-Saharan Africa, and we know that we have porous borders. Did we do anything at all to mitigate the fact that some of this will find its way into our country?
Yes, well, I think a lot of arrests have been made, and it will serve as lead to other areas. That's why most of them who are in custody are still being interrogated by the State Security Service, because that's the only way you can debrief them to know their level of involvement, like the ones released on about 2 weeks ago or thereabout. Some of the Boko Haram people that were released, I believe they must have also been properly debriefed, de-radicalized, and the level of their involvement in the operations known. And they will serve as lead and possibly help in checking some of the ongoing operations.
You talk about de-radicalization. I have always wondered at that term. I mean, what do they mean by de-radicalization?
Radicalization is an extreme view. So you need to turn the person around to make him conform to the norms of the society. That's just the radicalization.
I agree, but the question is exactly how long does it take? If it's taking so long for somebody to imbibe a certain view, I mean, is there any...
The time depends on the level of involvement of the person being debriefed. If he's in a leadership structure, you sure that he cannot be released just like that. But if there are foot soldiers that can be turned around, even against their leadership, you can also do that.
Well, we'll take a moment now. When we come back, we'll look more at what can be done to ensure that we feel safer, at least in the country. In a moment, please stay with us. Well, Mr. Mike Ejiofor, former director at the Department of State Services, is still with us in the studio. Just before we went on break, we're talking about policing. Let's quickly touch on that. You have advocated for state policing, but there are fears of abuse. What do you think can be done to ensure that, if indeed it comes to light, it is at least the abuses, the incidences of abuses will be minimized?
Well, before I go into that, I think, because I don't know how much time we have now, you see, the state police will be abused. That has been the argument. People are also arguing that the federal police is being abused.
True.
So, it's an evolving stage. The society is dynamic. When people know their rights, they're enlightened. No governor can just abuse the state police.
Some people have said, perhaps we should decentralize the police instead of creating state police.
Well, it will help. Decentralization of the police, for instance, I have also advocated that. You remember in the 80s, under General Babangida as president, he directed that policemen, the rank and file of the police from inspector down, should be posted to their geopolitical zones, while the commanders from other states can be posted normally. So I think this is the time for us to do that. Because we have cultural differences. You have a lot of challenges. When you bring somebody from, I'll just give an example, from Maiduguri to Bayelsa, first of all, the man has not seen water before. For him to adjust, he has language barrier. So if you get these people clustered in their very geopolitical zone where they understand the language, they are the people who will carry out these operations and feed the commanders. In the interim, I think that's where we should go. It will, while we wait for the creation of state police, which everybody is arguing with that will be abused, I think we can try out that one. More so, we will have a lot of problems now at hand.
Oh, that's definitely one step to take. We have to thank you most kindly for coming on Sunrise Daily. Mr. Mike Ejiofor is a former director at the Department of State Security. State Services. State Services. Well, that will be all from us here on Sunrise Daily. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.
I'm Ajuri Ingilale.
I'm Chamberlain Oso.
And I'm Neil Tag. We have yourself a beautiful day.